Am I the butthole for telling my sister I am never babysitting or being childcare for her and her husband again? My 29 female sister, 32, asked me if I could babysit Thursday and Friday afternoons after school for her and her husband while they work. I said sure, no problem. I love my niece and nephew and I love spending time with them. It was also a nice way to get to know her husband's 2 kids better when they had them. It has worked great for 3 years I have been doing it. Then I started doing an occasional Saturday night for their date nights. For a while I have had some issues with her husband. There were nights he didn't have his kids from a previous relationship but he wanted me to babysit as well and I never felt comfortable with this. When it is his parenting time, absolutely no problem. But I know his ex from a past job and I do not want to get involved with her level of crazy which babysitting on her parenting time could potentially bring to my door. My sister and I talked about this before and she got him to back off for the most part. Because of this I was happy to continue. So last Saturday I was supposed to babysit for them to have a kid-free night after months of craziness due to COVID. My sister's husband shows up with all the kids, because it was their parenting time, and his ex's younger child and her boyfriend's kids. Nobody said anything to me. I never agreed to have all those kids and at the door he acted like an ass because I told him I was not babysitting all those kids. I called my sister and she said she had no idea he would do that. I told her that I am tired of him pushing and that last night crossed a line for me and I am not willing to subject myself to the pressure again. Not to mention it made me feel like an ass having to deal with it while all the kids were standing there. Some of whom I had never laid eyes on before. My sister is understandably hurt but said she understands. Her husband is telling me I'm a butthole for dropping out of things on such short notice. Am I? AITA? NTA. He tried to take advantage of you babysitting by dropping more kids on you unexpectedly. He doesn't deserve you as a babysitter. I'm still so frustrated about that. I would be too. He's incredibly rude for trying that. Rude and overall just being an ass with the whole thing. You're definitely NTA, and why would he have his ex's kids/step-kids who aren't his and Kane into the picture after they broke up? I understand his kids on his time, but why is he visiting ex when it's her time and making childcare arrangements for all of her children, including some that aren't his? Some that aren't his, and also some that aren't even the ex's kids. Assuming that there were only 5 kids, I would insist that the going rate is $50 per hour, $10 per hour per kid. I'm wondering if he was getting paid to look after the extra kids, and was planning to just pocket the money while making original posts look after them. I actually dog sat in a situation like this. What sucked for the original sitter is that I charged more than her, laughing my butt off. Ding, 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 I bet this is the winner. I wondered this too. She said he dropped off 4 kids he never met plus the 2 of her sisters plus X amount of his older kids, which is 2+. He wanted her to babysit 8 kids minimum. That's impossible to do, no? You can't be in 8 places at once and you might even miss it if one of them was like on the roof and fell down. Saw that in a TV show recently of a kid breaking his arm from being up on a roof, so it's the first example in my mind. Like 1 adult per 2 or 3 kids is often doable, but 1 adult per 8 kids. Geez, that's tough and a recipe for chaos. Welcome to the world of teaching. 1 adult and 30 kids. When I worked in daycare, children 4 and under needed 1 adult to 6 children ratio. Older children was a higher ratio but still rough. And the ex's BF's kid doesn't even know original post, so the likelihood they will listen to original post is a gamble. More than 5, nephew and niece would be 2, Bill kid's other 2, ex younger kid, 1, plus her boyfriend's kids in plural, means at least 2 more, total 7 or more. I can't even understand him needing a sitter when it is his time. That's the point of visitation, to spend time with your kid as. He can have date night when he doesn't have his kids over. And why isn't he telling his wife he is dropping off more than the 2 kids she expects? Something tells me Op's sister is either willfully blind to her husband's attitude or there is trouble in their paradise. Because he's effing the ex. Wonder if the ex's youngest is really his, and that is why he kept pushing on that one. This is my thought too. This is so bizarre to me. Why did he even have those kids? Probably because he's been talking about the great free babysitter he's got, and probably omitting the parts about original post not agreeing or feeling comfortable taking the kids. As a teenager, I was babysitting 2 children overnight on New Year's Eve. They were friends of my parents and I knew the children, ages 5 and 7. On that night, other friends of this couple kept stopping by and dropping off their children, and I ended up with 10 or 12, one of whom was still in diapers and another who needed to be. No one asked me or my mother if this was okay, they just did it. I guess they were all going to the same party? I never agreed to babysit for this family again. So I have 3 girls. When I moved into my house almost 6 years ago, my oldest was 8, plus I had a 2-yo and a 1-yo. My mom had taken my younger 2 for the day. I had my 8-year-old and my best friend's daughter who was also 8. A friend from high school just so happened to be moving in down the street, so I offered to bring his kids up and play outside. This backfired on me as I ended up with a dozen girls in my yard, including a 3-2 I watched her mom just pop her over the fence. I was pissed as these other parents didn't say a damn word. I let my daughter pull out the nail polish, turn on the hose and make mud pies and puddles. The only thing I did was require all the kids to leave their shoes on the porch. The one mom finally realized these kids were filthy, covered in mud, and the parents came and collected the kids. One freaked out about her daughter's shoes like we were trying to steal them. Starts screaming about her daughter's Jordans. I'm like, first of all, I made your daughter take her shoes off like the others so they didn't get wet. Second of all, I don't even know you and you just drop your kids here like we were free babysitters. Plus, I don't even wear Jordans myself, not my kind of shoes, so why would I want your kids' shoes? Never had that problem with those kids again. Those kids had a blast and were sent home sugared up and filthy. In all honesty, sugared up and filthy was my favorite state as a child. Creative way to deal with it, punishing the parents and have the kids have fun. I love the way your mind works. Brilliant. Sugar is like crack to kids. They'll go home and detox in front of their parents' bewildered eyes. When I was 15, I was babysitting a neighbor's 3 kids when her sister arrived with her 3 kids. I knew the adults were going to dinner and a play and possibly drinks after, but I had only agreed to the 3 kids who I knew very well. Because I knew them well, I gave them a good deal and was generally forgiving of last-minute requests, plus I went out of my way to be helpful, often cleaning after the kids were in bed. I guess that meant pushover in their minds. So needless to say, I was quite surprised his sister tried to drop off 3 extra kids, a set of 3-year-old twins and a 12-week-old baby, so a lot of extra work. I told sister I never agreed to watch more than the 3, and she tried to give me a sob story about her regular babysitter being unavailable and that she was told I'd be happy to help because I'd been so good to the family, and she was already late for dinner because she had to drive all that way to get the kids to me. I told her I wasn't going to be able to care for 6 kids under 5 on my own, so she'd have to wait until I could get a hold of a friend or family member to help, and it was going to cost an extra $5 per each of her kids per hour, payment due up front. She pitched a fit but went to the ATM. I got my dad to come help, and she went on her way. My dad knows I'm not confrontational but said he was proud I stood my ground and prepared me for possible drama when they got home. They arrived 2 hours late, and the couple I was originally hired for tried to stiff me because they said sister already paid. I said sister had paid for her kids and owed me $30 because she only paid 5 hours and was gone 7, and they still needed to pay. It turned into an argument but they eventually paid. Sister stiffed me $10 because she claimed she only had a $20. I then said I didn't appreciate them attempting to take advantage of me and that I was going to decline any more jobs from them. We moved 2 months after that, but from what I heard from my friends still in the neighborhood, I moved in the same school district so I still saw them regularly. They had a hard time finding babysitters after because no one gave them the same rate I did and no one cleaned for them. I am equally proud of you. You are a tiger. This happened to me when I was about 13. It was my very first babysitting gig. My grandpa arranged it. I was babysitting 2 kids probably 5 and 6 years old. Then a friend came and dropped off 3 more. One of the kids was around 2 years old and required a helmet when on hard surfaces. I was told he had seizures often and to not let him wander alone, especially on the tile areas. Unfortunately, I wasn't confrontational at all. I had the most stressful night of babysitting I'd ever experienced and was way too young to watch that many kids, especially one who could have a medical emergency. I wasn't even old enough to drive. I had a similar game. Parents were going to a party and I was their regular babysitter for their 3 kids. 4 other couples that I also babysit for were going to the same party. Literally the day before couple number 1 leaves me a voicemail that they had this great idea that I just watch all the kids. 12 in all. And they were going to be so generous and pay me double. Oh, and I was an overnight gig cause the party was at a hotel so they didn't drive home drunk. Fortunately I was 17 and I put my foot down. I said if they want me to work for 5 families I was getting 5 times my rate. And I was bringing 2 friends, who I had called before I called back, that I knew had babysat for several of the families and they would be paid the same. And if those terms were not acceptable I would still be happy to watch only their kids for the night, but I would have to rethink being available for any of the families again. We settled at 3 times my rate for each of us. Although a couple of families tipped us. I think they were scared the 3 of us would refuse to ever sit for them again. You don't F with the Babysitters Club. Take my poor woman's gold, you got titanium ovaries, trophy. I think I might have called CPS if that happened to me. People leaving their kids with a teenage child of a friend, who hasn't even agreed to it? That's a pretty small step up from just going up to a stranger in the street like, here, take these kids until I'm done partying. Absolutely the same. I'd have called the cops and let them handle it. F those stupid parents thinking it's okay to do that. It's so weird. Say you're the ex, you and your ex-husband have kids, op's actual step-niece and nephew. They of course go with your ex-husband. Now, you have another kid and 2 step-kids with your new boyfriend, with no marital or in-law relation to op, so you send those kids to the care of your ex-husband's new wife's sister, op. Huh? The only possible positive I see from this is that op's Bill has a decent co-parent relationship with his ex. They're both users, and ex is crazy. Original post came to that conclusion independent of this situation, and they are just going to keep pushing. Also, if the ex is hard to deal with, I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to get credit with her for doing this. Like, if she responds well to or understands, well, I did X for you, so you should do Y for me, then it sounds like he thought this was an easy way for him to build credit with her. All he had to do was shuttle the kids. Original post would do the real work, but he'd benefit from it. Or he offered to babysit for the ex and didn't tell her he was planning on dropping all the kids off with a third party. Another scenario is she's heard through the kids that she babysits, and because she's crazy, as per op, she decided she was entitled to use this babysitter as well and strong-armed op's husband into doing it. I mean, the husband is still the op for even entertaining this, but I can also understand just going with whatever crazy ex wants to shut her up. My brother's ex is this kind of crazy and he gets so sick of fighting her on the stupidest of things. He's probably been using his awesome free babysitter as a bargaining chip to get things he wants from the crazy ex. Even more weird for the kids. Their babysitter is op, their dad's girlfriend's kid she had before meeting their dad's new wife's sister. Why are the ex-boyfriend's kids with this dude? Makes no sense at all. Never mind that original post is a complete stranger to those kids too. Because he is too inappropriately invested in his ex's life. It's fine if he is willing to babysit all of his ex's children, but to try to surprise original post even though they had previously made themselves clear on what they were willing and not willing to do. NTA, I barely would have babysat his kids with ex if I was original post position because I have no connection to them, especially if the mom is known to be crazy. He's still banging his ex. Just what I was thinking. I agree. It's a leap for sure, but it makes sense. I mean, that's a stretch, but definitely one I could see someone making when they're as much of an ass as he is. Agree. All signs point to this conclusion. Literally exactly what I was thinking. NTA, what a lot of nerve, dropping kids off that you don't even know and expecting you to watch them. That's a whole lot of butthole behavior on his part. It is. I thought he was a butthole enough for trying to push this on me for several months. But he went even beyond that. He dropped off 4 children I did not know, had never met before, and thought I would just accept it. Absolutely amazing. I don't understand how anyone, under any circumstances, would think this is okay. Unless an asteroid is heading to Earth and for some reason the only way the children will survive is if they are under your care. But I am reasonably sure that was not the case. Lol, no. Not even close to what was going on. It's crazy. I can hardly believe he thought I would give in at the door. It would have been irresponsible to accept the kids since you don't know anything about them. What if, say, one of them had severe allergies or something? Yes. Not to mention that there is a limit to how many kids a single person should have in their care. I used to be a nanny and my hard limit was 4. Anything over that and I would demand that they hire another caregiver to be present to ensure the safety of the children. It's the same in daycare situations for the same reason. I was thinking that as well. You don't even know if their parents gave their permission for him to drop them off, and if they did, why are these parents not even meeting original post to vet the babysitter first? Or have the parents' contact details if something goes wrong? Damn, did he think you were running some kind of free daycare? The audacity. Buttholes think everyone will be too polite to tell them no if they put them on the spot. Well done for not giving in. Good for you for standing up for yourself. I would have totally been caught off guard and caved. Tell him if his ex would be okay knowing that he dropped all the kids off with you. Sounds like he's got some extra large sexism going on to just expect you to take care of random kids. Even in that case, who cares? Still not Op's problem. So how many kids was he dropping off? This sounds more like a party than a babysit. 8 kids. Yep, I have held smaller birthday parties than that for my kids. I presume all adults were paying you the full rate per hour for their kids. /S. In some areas, indoor gatherings are limited to 10 people. Not sure if Original Post lives alone, but Original Post plus 8 is already 9 people. Bill doing this during the pandemic is even more ridiculous than under normal circumstances. Like, sure, let's just scramble at least 4 different households together right now on top of taking advantage of a person who has been exceedingly generous and accommodating. NTA, in case that wasn't clear. Holy crap. He just drops off 8 kids unannounced? He is definitely a major butthole. Not you. This baffles me. You were right to say no. That's so many kids, smiley face, not the butthole. How did they even fit in the vehicle? Did he have his ex drop kids off to your place? I just gasped out loud. 8 kids. I've taught classes smaller than that. Op, put this in your post as an edit, because it's not clear how many kids he brought to your doorstep. I thought it was maybe 5 kids, niece, nephew, and ex's kid, plus, ex's boyfriends. If you were told there'd be 2 and he shows up with 8, some you've never even seen before, I don't see how anyone could think you're in butthole. What the hell was her husband thinking? Did he give any explanation why he thought this was what you agreed to? Absolutely NTA. You agreed to babysit their kids, not to start a daycare at your house. What's wrong with him? To just show up with an army of kids. Some people don't appreciate help and have the audacity to dump more work. Shaking my head. A daycare implies that Original Post is getting paid. I thought it's mighty selfish of Op's sister and brother-in-law to take advantage and not pay for babysitting in the first place. It sounds like Original Post was providing a lot of babysitting time. This other crap is just a whole lot of extra BS. NTA Op. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.